Now that you've had a couple of days since the Toronto game, how do you assess what you saw and just what you experienced in that East semifinal?
To be honest, this is one of the few games where it was an imperative for me to watch the game right after. You know, we have a lot of things here that as we prepare to go forward. So I probably haven't got, excuse me, nearly as in-depth my analysis. You know, I want to make sure I met with every one of these guys before they go back home. I can tell you this, I really haven't per se gotten over it quite yet, as I didn't anticipate us doing this right now. You know, obviously disappointed, just like every single guy in that room. We felt we had more and should be playing this week, but at the end of the day, feeling that way, you got to make it happen on the field, and we didn't do that in Toronto. So we are where we are. We're excited about the future and what we have going forward, and Sean and I will take the steps that we need to take this offseason to make sure things continue to move forward in the right direction.
One of mine Sean talked about was consistency. How does that get better over the course of the season?
Well, you know, I think it's a lot of things. It's one of the things we talked about in, you know, as a group. We've shown we can compete and beat with every team in this league. And, but it's not good enough just doing it, whether it be at home or sporadically. We all know success isn't linear, and you know, we will continue to work through things as we go forward in making sure that we are, everything in life, there's going to be little ups and downs, right? But we got to make sure that we're able to withstand and correct those things so that on a continual level, we play consistent winning football across all three phases.
Can you sort of categorize the growth that the team made and players and coaching staff over the course of a year?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that, you know, I commend these guys on is this, you know, when you look at our roster over the changes we made in the offseason, the new people we brought in and at key positions. And one of the things I'm most proud of these guys is how fast they came together as a unit. You know, and going through, having spent 10 hours meeting with these guys yesterday and then another 2 hours before we had our meeting this morning, is the closeness that these guys have put together. And I think that helped us through our way. And so that's a big part of our growth. At the end of the day, you know, Sean and I talk about making sure we've got good characters, good people here, and that's what we have. And, you know, they came together and they gelled well, you know, and it's a hard thing to do when you're bringing in strong personalities from the perimeter and asking them to join a strong group that was here. And so how they came together, extremely proud of that. I believe these guys have shown and they have an understanding of, like I said, that they could play with anybody and everybody in this league. And I don't think they ever went on the field feeling like, oh boy, we're going to be outmatched. And so they continue to grow. And, you know, while the loss is extremely disappointing, as I told them, I don't want them to see this as a failure, because to get to where we need to go, there's steps to it. And it's a process, you know, and I always talk about the process. We're going to continue making sure that we're doing things the correct way. And I feel very confident about this group that we'll learn from our successes and our failures this year and our challenges. And that'll pay dividends in the future.
What do you see as some of the areas that need the most growth going forward in order to keep things progressing?
Well, I think it's a matter of, you know, I'm going to be honest, like I said, I'm still in the phase. If I was evaluating per se the direction we're going to go and what we need to do, that means I wasn't giving enough due diligence to what we were trying to accomplish at the time. So that's what's great about the next couple of weeks is, you know, meeting with these guys individually and finding out their mindset is extremely important. And, you know, formulating where we go from here will be done over the next couple of weeks.
How do you assess the team's success at home this season and kind of the Payne Street Bullies mentality that you build all through the season?
Yeah, you know that's one of the positives again that we bring from. You know, our goal is, and we talked about it from day one, is, you know, we want to make sure that this stadium is a place where people don't want to come. You know, Ottawa's such a beautiful city. One thing you always found, whether it be talking to coaches or opposing players, oh, we love coming to Ottawa. I don't think they like coming to Ottawa nearly as much this year, and that's what we want to continue to build here. You know, we've got a great fan base, and appreciate all their support, and we want to make it tough for teams to come here. And then, you know, you're asking me where we have to grow. We have to grow to bring that same mentality on the road, and the same thing. It doesn't make a difference where you're playing. If you're the bullies at home and you go to somebody else's sandlot, you should be a bully over there too. And that's what we have to do, and that's where we have to grow in that regards.
What kind of growth did you see out of Drew Brown?
You know, lots of growth. You know, it's a shame he had that little stretch where he was down a little bit or played injured and then was down, because he continued to ascend throughout the whole season. I think, you know, when you look at those last 2 games throughout the season, I think he got a good, now I don't want to be throwing the ball that many times every week, but it's great to see, you know, when asked to do, he was able to be successful when asked to do that. You know, throughout the year, you know, Drew came in, and you come in a new environment, probably wasn't as vocal in the beginning in his leadership, but how his leadership showed was how he paid such attention to the process and how hard he worked with Coach Condell and the group. And as the season went on, he grew to become, especially after he got back after the injury, I think he kind of let loose a little bit more on his personality, and it shone through, and his leadership amongst the whole group. So he continues to grow, and I'm looking forward to him to flourish here under Coach Condell's tutelage.
You brought up like being proud of the group. How impressive is it to have a group of such young and veteran players on both sides of the ball all come together, you know, through the adversity they faced this year, whether it be injuries or losses? They were always positive and came with a hard working mentality to practice in the games the next week.
You know, that's a great question, in that, you know, having the fast start we had, and then there was times during that, let's say the 5-game losing streak, that they could have easily fractured. And like I said, this is a group of guys that came together quickly and didn't see any of that. They continued, and they believed. I know we didn't win. We had a little tough stretch there, but they continued to fight, and they continued to fight together and work to solve the problem together. And so it's a credit to them who they are. It's a credit to them as a commitment. You guys know, I believe that the strongest teams are team player-led. And so it's a credit to them, because at the end of the day, you know, we as coaches, I always say in special teams, all they do is draw a bunch of lines on a piece of paper. They got to make it happen. And that's what these guys do. They took the lead and did a fantastic job.
What can you say about just the malleability of the reserve? But you got guys like Braylon playing running back, Money moved over to safety, Rubes playing all over the offensive line. What can you say about the group and just their willingness to do whatever it takes?
Well, yeah, very, very unselfish group in the fact that, just as you're saying, Frankie, they wanted to do whatever they could to lead into our success. And it was credit, obviously, to our personnel department in the type of player they bring in here. And, you know, I said it earlier, is to be a strong team, everybody's got to be committed to one goal, and you got to be able to put away your ego. And, you know, the more talented you are, like you said, a guy like Braylon, who's able to step from receiver to running back, a guy like Dedman, you know, we transitioned him from receiver to running back throughout the year. Money moving from corner to safety. Jacob, like you said, playing all over the place. They're just dedicated to team success, and that's what we want to be about. And so I can't give them enough credit for that.
I don't know if it's a fair question, but has anybody on your coaching staff indicated that they want to maybe explore other opportunities, or are those conversations still yet to come?
Those conversations are yet to come. You know, and over these next 2 days, you know, these young men want to get home to their families, so I meet with the players for these 2 days. I think I got the coaches on Tuesday, and then we'll go forward from there.
Thanks.
Thanks, Nate.
Thank you.
Thank you.